Hi, I'm Mr. Gunther here in front of a live audience. And this is what we do last time for, hold on, what was yesterday? Monday, December 16th, and today, which is Tuesday, December 17th. Hi. Today is mostly a work day for most people who are working. For some people, it's not a work day because they have chosen not to work. So whatever you decide to do on that. I think the most important announcement for today is a change of the schedule. There's going to be a picture of that new schedule below, but I'll just tell you really quick. Your synthesis chart and your annotated bibliography are due on Friday. Okay? Remember, your annotated bibliography is not just links you copy and paste. It is citations in MLA format with a summary of about 4 sentences for each one. All a summary is you telling me what that article is about. That's it. In your own words, just say what happened in the article. Do that for all 12 of your articles. Format in MLA format, turn that in. Also, synthesis chart. Remember, your synthesis chart is the 6 sources in conversation with each other. Okay. Then your final essay is now going to be due on Sunday, January 5th at 11:59 p.m. Actually, it's Monday at midnight, but that means way early in the morning Monday, way late at night Sunday. Time is confusing, right? Okay, today I did this for you. I'm going to overview as quickly as I can how to write an essay from the wee beginnings to the very ends. So follow along at home. First up, research. Hopefully, most of you are well on your way with research. Actually, how many of you are well on your way with research? I'm just curious. Most of you. That's great. Well, here's a quick refresher anyways. Remember that you need, hi, Mr. Henderson. This is a movie I'm filming.
One shot.
And it's a one-shot only thing, so I can't talk to you. Okay. Remember, you need 12 sources total. 6 of those sources are in conversation with each other, meaning they're talking to each other about the same ideas. The other 6 are like background information, things that help you understand your topic, that help other people understand your topic, but they might not necessarily be in conversation with another. So if you're researching iguanas, and all these people are arguing about iguanas, maybe this other article is actually about the history of iguanas, and it's not in that conversation. Background information. Okay. Also, of those 12 sources, 4 need to be scholarly. Remember, scholarly means it's written by an expert for an expert audience. An expert could write an article in the New Era magazine, but because it's not written for an expert audience, that's not scholarly. So how do you find something scholarly? So glad you asked. Library databases are the best place to go for that. When you go to library databases, can you read this at home? Click where it says scholarly. It wasn't that funny.
I'm sorry.
But it was. Click scholarly. If you don't click that, you might get articles. I've seen this from like Better Homes and Gardens and shit like that. So click scholarly. All right, now how do you research generally speaking? I like to go to Google News. It's like Google Images for news. And if you go to the settings, you can change it to be within the past week or past month or past year. That way you can find things that are very recent relating to your topic. I also like to go to news websites directly. Go to NewYorkTimes.com. You're going to find something that looks like that. It's a magnifying glass. If you click it, you can type in your topic. It'll pull up articles. And also library database. Another trick to finding scholarly websites is look at the articles you've pulled up from news websites. A lot of times those articles will be citing experts. They might actually cite an academic article or an academic study. If they do, find that article or study, and you can use that as a scholarly source. Sometimes they might just quote somebody who's an expert. Google their name. You can find books written by them or websites written by them. Sometimes you'll find out that somebody's associated with an organization that they discuss in an article. Find that organization's web pages, and I've seen on those organization web pages a resources page where it has lists of articles. So once you kind of crack it open, once you find the right vein, it opens up. That's it for research. I drew an ear. Is that an okay ear? He doesn't like it.
No.
Do you guys have any questions about the research process or sources? I'm actually asking the live audience. Is there anything I can go over for this? No? Okay, once you have all 12 sources, you put that in your annotated bibliography, and that is a different thing than your research essay. Okay, number 2, over here. After you have all your sources, it's time to find an argument. Remember, an argument is not necessarily a heated debate between two sides. All the time students come to me and say, my topic isn't controversial enough, should I change? No, it does not need to be controversial. It doesn't need to be. What an argument really means is something supported by evidence and reasons. That's the actual definition of argument. So you're going to make an argument, you're going to have something to say that you support with evidence and reasons. Define your thesis statement. Step 1. What are you asking?
You just keep doing what you're doing.
I'll try.
Yeah.
Okay. Step 1. Ask yourself about your topic, what is interesting or important to you? Like when you're reading about iguanas, what is so fascinating about iguanas? Next, ask yourself, who needs to know that? Now, chances are you're not an iguana scientist, and prove me wrong, but chances are you haven't discovered some new fact about iguanas that scientists didn't know about. If you did, say that. People need to know it. If you didn't find some new facts about iguanas, ask yourself, what did you learn about iguanas that maybe regular smart people don't know? So that is what you want to say. Who needs to know it? Who is interested in iguanas? Or maybe your thesis statement is simply, people take these lizards for granted. They think they're just big, dumb lizards. They're actually more interesting than most people think. That'd be a perfectly fine thesis statement. Then finally, the third part of your thesis statement is the reason. That is the why or how. Either why do people need to know this about iguanas, or how are you going to prove this? What's the evidence to support that? So the thesis statement template is right here. It goes, they say. The they say is the idea or belief that you're addressing. For example, most people think iguanas are big dumb lizards. The I say is your claim. However, I argue iguanas are more interesting than most people realize. Reason, because did you know they have wings and they can fly? That's not a good reason because it's not true, but maybe you get the idea. Any questions about thesis statements? This is just like the thesis statement we did for the rhetorical analysis essay, except for we're adding the they say. Okay, and lastly, right here is an overview of how to write an essay. Your essay needs to land on the 5th page, but be no longer than 10 pages, so 5 to 10 pages. I've heard people say, oh, that just means one word on the 5th page. That's stupid. No formatting will allow that to happen. It'll at least be like a couple lines, right? Because it will either push it down or pull it up, because that's the way formatting works. Does that make sense? Okay. So here's a sample outline for your essay. When you look at the first page, a lot of the first page has header stuff, like my name, your name, date, class name. It's got a title. What's left on that first page is about maybe 2/3 of the page. That turns out to be, for your length of paper, about the perfect length for an introduction. Introductions aren't always this short. If you're writing a book, the introduction is a chapter long, but the length of your essay dictates the length of your introduction. And with 5 pages, I think your introduction will take up pretty much the whole first page. And if you're doing everything right, that's about how that works. In your introduction, you need a hook. You got to grab the reader's interest. And if you've done a Google News search, find something recent that's happened in the news about that makes it relevant. You need to set up your topic and give the background of the topic. And then you need to lead in and set up your thesis statement. If you're doing all those things right, there's plenty of things to say here. If you feel like your introduction is too short, you're skipping a step or you're rushing through a step. Any questions about introductions? Okay, next up, body paragraphs. I don't like thinking of essays in terms of how many paragraphs you have to write, because sometimes I like short paragraphs for stylistic effects. So instead of thinking I need to write 3 body paragraphs, one about each thing I want to say, think about it in sections. Maybe 3 sections is about the right length for your essay. And hey, how many common threads are on your synthesis chart? 3, people are raising their fingers. Whoa, that works perfectly, right? So you can use each common thread as one section of your essay. Now 3 is just an arbitrary number I made up, okay? I didn't make up the number 3. But you could possibly have more sections of your essay, 4, 6, 8. You could have 2 sections of your essay. That doesn't really matter. In fact, it's entirely possible after you've done all your research, you like one common thread so much, your whole essay will be on that. That doesn't really matter. So think of your essay in terms of sections. So in one section of your essay, in your body paragraphs, you need to have topic sentences that set up your evidence. You need to, or topic sentences that set up your paragraph. Sentences that set up and prepare people for your quote. You actually need to quote it properly. They need to analyze your evidence. If you're doing a body paragraph that way, like a traditional regular body paragraph, that'll take up at least half a page, if not 2/3 of the page. Now, I don't care how long your paragraphs are. Students ask me, is my paragraph too long? That's like, I've seen sentences go on for pages. So as long as you're doing these things, and you're doing a good job at that, if that's how long your paragraph needs to be, that's how long it needs to be. But if at some point in your paragraph you're bringing up a new idea, make a new paragraph, and then go through the steps of doing a new topic sentence. If you have 2 body paragraphs on the same section of your essay about the same topic, that's fine. That's totally fine. You do that 2 times, and then, or 3 times, and then your essay's pretty much done. Then all you need is a conclusion, and your essay's done. It's that easy. Any questions about essays? Because I'm almost done. Okay, anything you want to add, Mr. Hendrickson?
Is that underwear? Looks like you drew underwear that's like singing.
In case you can't hear, Mr. Hendrickson asked if that was underwear singing. He nailed it. He got it. No one else got that. All right, I'm done. No questions though, really? Okay. That's it, mouth talking. You guys suck.